This is my story, a story of inspiring bravery and a never-ending fight. One day in June, I was born happy and healthy. But what nobody realized is that I would be fighting for answers for 16 years after my first symptom, and that I would suffer immensely while being brave and not giving up, no matter how many problems are thrown my way. At 3, my teachers deemed me developmentally delayed, but that was far from what would happen next. When I was 4 years old, my bio dad threw me across the living room, causing me to hit the top of my head on the ceiling and the back of my head on the wall, and I slid down. I didn't get checked out because I was too scared to tell anyone, because my bio dad said if I told anyone, he would end my life. To those wondering, I'm just speaking from experience. What happened to me whenever I was 4 happened so long ago. My memories may not be very accurate. I do know for sure that I was thrown and that I did hit the top of my head on something and the back of my head on something. That I know for sure. My biological dad has a history of doing the most unimaginable and hurtful and inappropriate things to me and my mom both. What my biological dad did to us is so bad that I can't talk about that on YouTube. Sometime after I was thrown across the living room by my bio dad, I noticed that my coordination wasn't as good as it was before. When I turned 5, I started kindergarten and was also diagnosed with ADHD, but when I turned 6, I had to start kindergarten all over again because my grades were low. I wasn't ever able to be successfully potty trained until I was 6 years old. When I turned 7, I started having migraines and was eventually diagnosed with glaucoma, but treating the glaucoma didn't help it. At around 8, 9, and 10 years old, I was bullied and picked on for not being normal. I had trouble fitting in. Around 10 years old, I went to summer camp for the first time. The summer camp was called Pfeiffer Camp, but I ended up getting kicked out because I couldn't fit in, and also I was getting picked on there. And the next thing that I heard the camp counselor / camp manager say was, "Muriel, you have special needs." And that broke my heart after I was told what having special needs meant. Around this same time, they found out I have bipolar. At around summertime, we moved from Arkansas to Tennessee. Fun fact, my birth state is Maryland. Eventually, in August, I was switched from the Arkansas School for the Blind to the Tennessee School for the Blind. The reason why I went to the School for the Blind was because my eyesight was getting worse and I was having a hard time seeing the whiteboard from far away. In 2015, I had something devastating happen to me. While I was on the school bus, I had my first seizure and near-death experience. It was like my soul had came out of my body. It had appeared as if I was hovering over my body, watching it convulse. My first initial thoughts were, "Oh shit, I'm dying here." It had appeared as if there was a light above me, but before I could look up, there was a voice that said, "If you do not want to leave this earth yet, then don't look up." And I knew then that was the voice of God. Then everything went black, and I woke up on an ambulance where I was told my seizure had lasted an hour and my lips turned blue. This picture you are seeing was taken today seizure. The seizures kept happening, so in October I had my first EEG and MRI. All tests, including blood tests, came back inconclusive. At around this same time, I was on lithium, and so I had to get blood tests regularly, and all of those were normal. My seizures were so bad that I had to start wearing a harness on the school bus. In 2015, the same year we found out I was backed up, so I had to get a feeding tube temporarily placed so that they could give me very, very strong laxatives in the hospital. I had to stay there for 3 days. And in 2016, I tried out for cheerleading and wrestling, but was rejected due to the fact that I couldn't coordinate as well as other people. Because of my seizures, I have had so many ambulance rides in my life, and many, many hospital visits. I have also been to many mental hospitals in my life as well because of depression from being fake claimed and not having answers. Eventually, I got so tired of it that I nearly unalived myself in 2017. Luckily, I'm still alive, and it was only my ankle that broke. It genuinely felt like I had to fight tooth and nail to survive.
Can somebody take this pain? I'm just not the same.
Anyways, me and my sisters were taken into DCS custody partly because of it. Now, don't get me wrong, my parents are good parents, and this should have never happened. After all, they weren't the ones picking on me.
I'm so done trying to prove that I know.
While I was in DCS custody, I had so many doctor's visits and so many tests ran, all coming back inconclusive.
I've tried all the running, hiding from the pain inside. I can't lie, broken heart is what I find, so I know that I can't help me. Can somebody take this pain?
Until one day, I was tested positive for autism.
So lost and confused, don't know what else to do. Can you help me? Can you help me? Can somebody take this pain?
Eventually, I was sent to an autism treatment facility called Bernalillo Academy, and on the first day there, I had a very, very bad seizure that lasted for 2 hours. Bernalillo Academy is all the way up in New Mexico. While I was there in 2018, I lost all the eyesight in my left eye and tunnel vision developed in my right eye. Eventually, after 6 months, I was sent back home to live with my mom. This picture is of me hugging our family service dog.
Help me. Can somebody take this pain? I just wanna change. I'm so done trying to prove that I know where to move. God help me. Can you help me?
When I got back from Bernalillo Academy, I started using an eye-seeing cane to get around and navigate. Eventually, I did go see my glaucoma specialist, and they did a visual field test to confirm that indeed there was vision loss and that I did develop tunnel vision and did become blind in my left eye. In the same year, 2018, I had a buttload of hospital visits because of seizures, yet I still kept a smile on my face, a smile of bravery. Eventually, I stopped taking lithium for my bipolar, but the tremors did not go away. Eventually, I stopped going to school because my seizures got so bad, so I was put in homebound schooling. And it became harder to pass tests until eventually it was like I couldn't pass them at all. I was having an even harder time retaining certain pieces of information. People thought that I didn't want to do the work, but in reality, I was desperately trying my hardest, but to no avail. Around this time, I began to have increasing pain in my feet and ankles whenever I would walk far distances. And eventually, it was found out that I had PTTD, posterior tibial tendonitis in both feet, and I was prescribed Ritchie braces. By the year 2021, I began having mild memory issues and would occasionally forget things, including occasionally forgetting what people have said right after they've said it, and would have to ask people to repeat themselves. I also began having trouble controlling my bladder. In 2021, I began wearing a helmet to protect me from falls and seizures. And in 2021, I also began having weakness in my legs as well. And that same year, I had poor control over my legs. And in 2022, it was noticed by a physical therapist. Sadly, no amount of physical therapy could help me gain back the abilities I had lost. And in 2022, I began having constant pain everywhere that would last 24/7 and would not go away, as well as occasional dystonia-like symptoms. In 2023, I had what looked like Bell's palsy on and off a couple times, and I also began to lose my proprioception. I lost my ability to run and jump. and began having tics. And also in 2023, I found out that I needed double jaw surgery, so I went to have braces put on my teeth to get my mouth ready for surgery. My surgery is supposed to be in October 2024. A few months after I started having tics, I also started having episodes of paralysis after my seizures. Eventually, towards the end of May, I had a seizure that paralyzed me from the waist down, and it was so bad it landed me in the hospital for 4 days. I underwent multiple tests, a CT scan and MRI and EEG. Then they examined me for the Hoover sign, and on the 4th day, I was given a paper before discharge that would change everything, as I finally knew the name of the monster ravaging my body. Functional neurological disorder. I was diagnosed 16 years too late. Recent research shows that the sooner you are treated, the better the outcome. Those who are not treated soon enough have a poor prognosis and are less likely to improve. What is functional neurological disorder? Functional neurological disorder is a multi-network nervous system disorder that largely affects the functioning of the nervous system. Symptoms include seizures, tics, memory issues, abnormal gait, tremors, vision issues, or even vision loss, and so much more. What's my mission? My mission is to inspire others and help others like me realize that they are not alone. And my biggest wish is to become famous for my brave and inspiring story. How does functional neurological disorder affect the brain? Abnormal brain connectivity and network function, altered neural circuitry, impaired neurotransmitter regulation. On October 1st, 2024, I bravely received double jaw surgery, but what I didn't realize is there would be complications. After the surgery, my functional neurological disorder was clashing with it, and I couldn't swallow. I had to be tube fed, and was having so many seizures due to pain. After each seizure, my legs would be temporarily paralyzed, but the seizures were happening so much my legs eventually stopped working properly and my proprioception became worse. During my time in the hospital, there was also light in the darkness. Oh my goodness, guys, thank you so much. You have no idea how much it means to me. It is so hard to grow a YouTube channel. I will continue to put in efforts to keep growing my channel. Thanks to all of my supporters and everybody who have supported my channel. Thank y'all so much. It means the world. My journey doesn't end there. I was eventually able to get my feeding tube taken out and to go home.
In the haze of endless days, feelings tangled inside.
Due to how many seizures I had in the hospital, I had to use my crutches to get around for a few days. My balance will never be the same as now when I walk. I feel like I'm walking on stilts because my proprioception is even worse. I was also able to switch to just using one crutch on October 12th. To this day, I am still battling functional neurological disorder. I have no clue what the future will be, but I'm still fighting against all odds. And I'm still fighting for a better quality of life and for a better future. I also have a life mission. My mission is to help people realize that they are not alone in the suffering, and to inspire them to keep fighting and never give up.
In the silence, I find my mind. Every breath confronts my fight. Bring you will ignite. I pray I'm Muriel strong, living through these battles belong. With each step, fears overcome. My fight's the anthem I fight.